Hey guys, time for another exciting episode of The Stash Report from The Stash Project. Today is Friday, January 16th, 2015. I know, we just put out a Stash Report on Monday, but now it's time for another one, because I want Friday to be the day that we do this. Hopefully now that we've gotten everything taken care of with Christmas holidays, and, well, can't promise you about the weather. It's wintertime in Pennsylvania, but Friday's when we want to try to do this. So, we have a few new announcements, some spot runs from Fujimi, and a few things have plopped out of Aoshima in the reissue department. So not a lot to talk about this week. Nothing new, again, has come out since Monday. Well, you know, Monday was a holiday, but still, nothing came out in the 4 days, and they're off this weekend. So there's not going to be anything coming out of Asia this weekend because they're not working, as I said. It'll still be probably another week and a half until you see the American releases start hitting the shelves. And then, of course, you have, not much coming out of Europe right now because of the fact that we're sort of in between, in between releases. I mean, there'll be some reissues coming out of Revell of Germany and stuff like that, but nothing major will hit, of course, until summer. Now, there is one little piece of information that is coming out of Revell US this morning. Breaking news, if you will. They're announcing that at the 2015 American International Auto Show in Detroit, that's going to start, I guess it's going on now through next weekend, they're going to be giving out limited edition 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor Snap-Tight models at the Ford display. I did not actually download a image of it, but it does look pretty much like a 2017 Raptor, or at least a 2014 Raptor with a new front end on it. No word if this kit is an actual like snap-tight, like a full 20-30 parter, like a regular Wheels of Fire Snap-Tight, or if this is another one of those build and play things. It, of course, will be one of those deals like the 2015 Mustang was at the Detroit Auto Show last year, where you probably have to have a child with you. It'll be a make and take. I think you have to be 8 years old or younger, so for all the old fat white guys, you ain't going to cut it unless you borrow your grandkids or your neighbor or something like that. Where the actual Snap-Tight kit is, who knows? But apparently it can't be that far off if this thing is being put out in time for the auto show. Of course, probably much like the Mustang, Ford fronted the bill on this thing, so it's a lot easier to make something when somebody pays for it up front. And probably much like the build and play Mustang, eventually this will filter out, into the actual hobby shops as a regular kit. The 2015 build and play, obviously, about 6 or 7 months afterwards came out. It was the limited edition part was the fact that the auto show editions said, like promo from Ford 2014 on the bottom or something like that. So if you happen to live in the Detroit area, look for that. Last year they also gave them out at the Chicago Auto Show, which I think is next month or something like that. Probably going to go to the Pittsburgh Auto Show this year, but I don't think they're going to make the trip out here. So anyway, on to the new stuff. Notebook of knowledge. So Fujimi's got, 5 kits. All of them are reissues of some form or another. And starting up top, they're going to put out another of the Good Smile Racing Hatsumi Mieko BMW Z4 GT3 race cars. This one for the final round 8 at Motegi. This will just be yet another one of the Good Smile Racing cars, which are the ones that have the anime girls, real garish graphics on them. I mean, it is a real racing company, real race team that does the Japan Cup. So, I mean, it's a real thing. It's a real car, but it's in that series that they're not like sponsored by a comic strip one week and then by Nappa the next week. They're the garish anime thing has been on all the cars for the entire racing season. But underneath of that, it's just the same BMW Z4 GT3 that Fujimi has always put out, or at least the revised reissue that they did for 2014, which I don't believe has any revisions to it over the 2013 kit. these anime GSR kits tend to run about $5 or $7 more than just the plain non-graphics cars did. All the ones that have the Crown Royal Plaza decals on them. So, unless you're into the actual comic series itself, no real reason to buy that particular BMW. All the BMW kits are still available, including the past Ghost Mile Racing cars, as well as all of the non-sponsored Z4s, all the way back to the 2011 kits. You still order them. I don't know if they'll, maybe one of those things where you order it and then it shows up as discontinued. But as far as I know, all those kits are still available. On the window mask, you got 3 more kits coming out with window masks. They will be the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. Somebody go grab Elliot over at ELP Modeling and let him know that they will be reissuing the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. I know watching his Evo 9 video, he had hoped they would bring the Evo 8 back out. Neither one of these kits interests me because I personally believe the Tamiya Evo 6 is a way better model kit, and I already have an Evo 8 GSR, and it's not worth going out and spending another $20-some-odd to get one that has window masks in it. I know, Elliot, you hate doing the window masks, but it's not worth getting 2 of them. I don't need 2 of them. I believe this puts out every Evo kit that Fujimi made in the GSR format. It'll be interesting to see if they go back and reissue any of these, because the window masks are made for it now, so there's not like there's any cost in developing it. See if they go back and reissue any of the, like the MR or the RS or any of the other ones. There were a shit ton. That's right. Pardon my French, but there's a lot of Evo 7 kits. I mean, a lot. It came out in pretty much every single format. The car came out factory stock, and then it came out in pretty much every tuner house in the entire country of Japan. So be interested to see if any more of these are going to come out. Only a few of them are still in production where you can actually order them. So there's a lot of ground to cover if they wanted to keep reissuing Evos. Be interesting to see what their overall long-term plans with these Evos are. And then you have the Volkswagen Golf. This is going to be a Gen 3 Golf. Cox 420 SI 16 valve. And it's COX, like Courtney, not the other way, you perverts. Cox is a tuning house for Volkswagens in Japan, so I've been reliably informed by my local VFW. No, not the Veterans of Foreign War. The local VW fanboy that I know. And then the one kit that's sort of really interesting in the sense of what it is a Auto Bianchi A112 Abarth, or Abarth. Abarth. You know what that, you know the word I'm butchering right there. Most, probably the Abarth probably most connected to Fiat and the 500s, both past, like the 500F and the current 500. Auto Bianchi was a company formed out of Bianchi bicycles, Pirelli tires, and Fiat. They made a bunch of really small, tiny cars, like things that looked like a Lakar that had a bad relationship with a Dodge Omni and then had a love child as a result. Sort of a Mini Cooper-sized vehicle, very small cars. They only existed until 1995, and then they were absorbed into Lancia, which of course is owned by Fiat, so really got absorbed into itself. And it seems to have been reissued by Fujimi one time, or issued by Fujimi one time, I believe, because I cannot find any information of it being a Fujimi kit. I believe that the Auto Bianchi A112 and the Auto Bianchi A112 Abarth are former Nito kits. This was another long-gone Japanese model company, much like Mitsuwa is. Because I can't find the Abarth kit in Fujimi box art, but I can find a ton of them in Nito box art. So I believe this is another example, because even the Japanese to English translation says something like resurrecting the long-forgotten mold or something like that. So I believe this is going to be another case where they're getting a tooling out of their vault of a company they bought way back in the past, or maybe they bought all this stuff recently and it just was sitting around a warehouse or something. I don't know. The kit itself, the Nito kit itself, was motorized. It had like lights and like it came with light bulbs, and it like lit up and drove around. It was a toy for all intents and purposes. I believe Nito is also where Fujimi got its Gen 1 Golf GTI, because that was also something that was in the Nito kit, and it has the same sort of construction where the back hatch opens so you can replace the battery. This one's a little more refined, and I say that in like the loosest terms possible. It actually has like side door panels that are separate rather than all in one. The only separate piece on the chassis is a really flimsy looking exhaust. It would remain to be seen what Fujimi would do to this kit, because the Mitsuya trucks, that's the car, the Fuso car hauler and the Super Dolphin dump truck, were motorized and lit up and everything when they were done by Mitsuya. But when Fujimi finally reissued them, they had taken all the motorized parts out and taken all the light bulb, all the electrical stuff out, so that it was just a model kit again. They never really did anything to the Volkswagen Golf in that respect, other than take all the electrical stuff out of it. So I don't expect them to do anything, dramatic here, other than, dig it out, clean it up, and reissue it. It's running like $11.50, $12 with the exchange rate being what it is right now. So, I mean, if you really, really wanted an Auto Bianchi because it's sort of an oddball car, I guess you could go for it. I'm going to hang on and wait and see what that kit actually looks like when it comes out before I would commit to even spending $11 on it, because it's really going to be, those 1980s Japanese toys that they made model kits out of are really some pretty rough stuff. And speaking of which, Aoshima put out some kits this week, 2 reissues, both of them Best Car Vintage fodder, as well as 3 sets of wheels. So we'll go, the wheels are January runs. We'll do the wheels first. Not a big surprise if you really follow what Fujimi does necessarily. SSR Professor VF1s. These were the custom wheels that came in the Crown Athlete kit. The BBS LMs, no big surprise here because these were the custom wheels that came with the Crown Royal Hybrid. Maybe I have that backwards, but those 2 sets of wheels came with the most recent 2012 Crown kits. So it's not surprising to see these get boxed up again on their own, because obviously they just ran a bunch of them off. I'm not sure when the last time these Varanzia Schwart SC4s were in a kit. It might be a while. I can't think of seeing them recently, but then I really don't pay that much attention to the VIP scene as far as what kits they've reissued or anything like that. So all 3 of those are in. I have a set of the BBS wheels, these ones, coming because I have a VIP Lexus LS400, a second-gen LS400. They made a factory stock one, but I've got the Luxy VIP one, and the Luxy VIP one comes with some of the most atrocious wheels I've ever personally seen included in a model kit. So these BBSs are going to go save that model kit from me throwing it out, or just throwing the wheels out. I don't want to throw the whole model kit out, but throw the wheels out and just weep into my into my soup, so to speak. Another January reissue is this Nissan Bluebird Super Silhouette Auto Box. Best Car Vintage, motorized chassis, rivets, wheels, battery box, screws, the whole shebang. It does give you a little insight into the styling of Japanese bazooka cars, does it not? With the big front spoiler and the weird wings and the aerodynamic deflectors going from the hood up to the A-pillars. Does Japanese auto styling make sense to you now? I seriously doubt they designed this car after the street cars. So, that explains why some Japanese cars look the way they do, because they were mimicking these race cars, because there's an entire series that had these style cars in them. And then the last thing, which is a December reissue, is the Volkswagen Beetle 1303S. Now, finding box art for it, I'm sure I probably could have if I would have dug around for it. Proved to be a little more difficult than I particularly cared to deal with after working this morning. So I will spare you a real picture of the car on the box, because, well, that's not what's in the box. You should, if you are tempted to buy this, take your wallet and then slap yourself across the face with it as hard as you can. If you knock yourself out, maybe you should put a towel or a pillow down on your bench or the floor, whichever way you're going to slap yourself, to catch yourself. We don't want anybody getting seriously injured. But that is the level of that this kit is. It's old IME tooling. It's proportionally inaccurate. It's also not an accurate 1303S, which would be the last of the mass-produced Volkswagen Beetles. It is not an accurate, it's not an accurate anything. It's not even really 124 scale. It's more like 122nd, like the London Black Cab is. And if you want to know how truly awful this kit is, well, I'll present to you some instructions. Hobby Search, your source of instruction sheets for model kits. You're going to have to blow this up to full size because I can barely see it in my photo reviewer here. But step number 5, look how shallow that interior is. Because look what's underneath of it. A giant molded into the chassis pan battery box. A lot of the best car vintage kits we yell about and throw a fit about have battery boxes that attach inside the chassis, usually under the hood or under the trunk, some out-of-the-way place. The car's constructed in a way that you could take them apart and put them back together again real easily so that you could keep replacing the batteries. But the IME tooling for the Beetles, and this goes for every one of the Aoshima Beetles that you will ever see. They're all IME tools. Don't be fooled and think, well, it's a convertible. That's okay. No, it's not. They all are these IME tools that have this exact same construction where there's a giant battery box. It takes 2 AA batteries, so that's the size of it. We warned you when we talked about this kit when we found out this was going to be coming back in November. But yeah, unless your people are, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall, they're not going to fit in this car very well because of how shallow that interior is. This kit is, make no bones about it, and you know me, I'm a champion of Aoshima. Love their stuff. Well, their new stuff anyway. But this kit, mainly because it's not theirs, is a pile of shit. I've had one of the other ones, not this particular kit, but another one of the Beetles that they have floating around because there's 3 of them. And it is one of the worst models I have ever personally laid my hands on. Everything about it stinks on ice. The plastic's a weird plastic, and everything is wrong with it assembly-wise. Everything is wrong with it kit-wise. I gave it away to somebody in my club, and I felt bad about the fact that they took it. I have not yet seen it again 6 months later. Usually this guy builds kits pretty fast. Yeah, it's not good. So, on that note, the Nuremberg Toy Fair will be next weekend, I believe. I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I probably should have actually looked that up before I started talking. But anyway, talk amongst yourself while I look this up. The the Nuremberg Toy Fair will be where we're going to find out about a lot of the lesser-known Asian companies, if you want to call it that, and the lesser-known European companies. This will be where Ebro and Heller will be officially announcing their new Citroen DS19. Now, there's obviously nothing lesser known about Heller or Ebro at this point, but they're not Tamiya. They're not Revell of Germany. The Spielwarenmesse International Toy Fair is January 28th through February 2nd. So it's not this weekend. It is the weekend after. It's the last weekend of January. So when that rolls around, we're gonna, like I said, we'll get the official Ebro Citroen DS19 announcement. We'll find out, does ICM have anything else up their sleeve, because the Model Ts were announced at this show last year. Does Meng have anything up their sleeves, a dually or something completely different? Because that's when we found out about the F350 kit was at Nuremberg last year. There may be more information out of Revell of Germany as far as like the car kits go. Maybe some rapid prototyping of the mold thing, of the mold things, of the tooling shots. For all the IPMS guys, for all the planes, boats, ships guys, Airfix will be there, Academy will be there, Meng, Cyber Hobby, all the Dragon, all those companies will be there. So it's a big shebang. It's certainly probably less about cars than it is about just general IPMS stuff. But the cars, because of the resurrection of Heller and their teaming up with Ebro, and Ebro just in general, and Revell of Germany being the massive company that it is in Europe, you're starting to see more and more automotive news at this show. Be interesting to see if Heller has any actual real plans beyond just this Citroen they're teaming up with. Like, there's a bunch of, obviously they have a wide catalog of reasonably decent kits that they could reissue. Does Ebro have anything else they're going to do other than the Citroen with Heller? And like I said, Meng, really interested to see if Meng's going to put that dually out. And well, I guess that's probably about it, guys. Obviously, you can see behind me here, I finally got the shelf put together. I no longer have a leaning tower of Caprices behind my head. Actually, got quite a bit of space left, so some of these Crown Vics are going to come off this shelf. And then I got to see if I can get this other shelving system together. I bought one of these, and none of these posts would fit in the holes to the shelves. They all resolutely refused. It was the fact that the holes in the shelves are too small, because the posts will fit into the shelves over here and the shelves that are in front of me, but they won't fit into the shelves that came with the package. So the package says get a rubber mallet and some WD-40 out. Well, that may not be that bad of an idea, because I tried to sort of edge drill the hole out, and that didn't really help anything. So I have one more set of shelves that are like this one that I just put together, and if I can get that one together, then like I said, all these police cars will disappear off the screen, and we'll finally start getting these kits put someplace so they're not just hanging out all over the place. Much moving, much reorganization still needed here at the Styrene Mountain. So till next Friday, or we actually put out a Styrene Mountain video. We'll see you guys on the other side.